I think he's going to come a little earlier than the 14th. So,
well, I think November 22nd is a good day.
That's why I asked you. I asked you the other week. I said I thought your birthday was the 23rd for some reason, but I guessed the 29th. So,
well, here's the deal: if it lands on my birthday, you're gonna have to name him Ben. That's
all right. Well, and maybe at least the middle name.
fair enough. I'll take
Okay.
it.
What are you contemplating up there, big guy?
Well, this is weird. So we're broadcasting live, and
Right.
You talking to me or?
No, Ryan.
He looks like a DJ right now.
He is a DJ.
Yeah, he looks like he's
DJ Brood Boy.
Yeah, he's about to start mixing.
I'm on YouTube, but I can't send the link for some reason. Let me try this again. I'm trying to.
Can you just do it later if it's a
Yeah, I can do it later. That's fine. We don't need the broadcast.
Well, I think I got to get a cool name like Brood Boy 813. At least Alex and Ben have their last name. I'm just Corey.
You can sign in as Rooster Dude. It asks you what you want to sign in as.
Yeah, I gotta come up with something.
Rooster Dude.
I still gotta clean up a lot of the not appropriate for all audience references to my screen name. So.
Can I call you back?
Hey, I gotta leave for 1 second.
Love you.
I'll be right back.
You got it.
Bye. Got to answer the phone when Mama Duke's calls.
You're good. Ben had to leave for just a second. He'll be back.
Okay, that's fine.
He might pop out here and there, but he'll be there most of the time.
That's awesome.
All right. The most important part. Can I crack open my drink yet?
Yeah, crack it open. We're going to go ahead and start the show in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Fantasy Brews. This is where we bring you as much information as we possibly can about what happened this past weekend in NFL fantasy football and the league and all the other fun stuff, the crazy games, the crazy people that scored points that we didn't expect would score points, and all the FanDuel that we lost money in and all that fun stuff.
I'm back.
So, and Ben is back joining us. So, Ben, we got a new guy on the show, and as a friend of Corey's.
I got a 2-year-old playing with dinos in the back seat. So
he's got a 2-year-old.
Excuse me a few times.
No worries, sir. Ben, say hi to the people that are out there listening to the show right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's lag.
Oh, it's lag?
Yeah.
How
That
lag?
must be some serious lag then.
Yeah.
Are you alive, Ben? You there?
You talking? I got some leg time.
No, Ryan.
I mean, I hear y'all just fine. I don't know how you're hearing me, but
No, Ryan. So go ahead.
Go ahead, introduce yourself, Ben. Say hi to the people.
A little quickie. No.
Am I not being heard?
No, I can hear you just fine.
All right, Alex.
Introduce yourself.
Hold on, I got it. Hold on.
There must be something up, Ryan.
Ben, can you hear me?
No, see? Something must be.
Ben, okay.
This is going to be good.
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm on the cell phone, and it's obviously been a long day. At least that's going to be my excuse. No, I'm glad I could finally make it on. I watched the first episode. Corey and I went to music school together, football fanatics, mutual respect for each other's teams. I don't typically like to admit that. So hopefully there aren't too many views here. But no, diehard Packer fan, killing it in fantasy this year. It's just a pleasure to be here.
How long have you been playing fantasy, Ben? 10 years, 15 years?
No, not that long. Probably 7 or 8 years. I mean, the first 3 years don't really count because I drafted all Packers players. It didn't work out.
That's what Ryan did too.
That's what I did.
He's still doing it.
Ben, can you hear me?
Anything else? I mean,
I don't think Ben can hear me. Can everybody else hear me?
Know what I'm wearing?
Yeah, you just
Ben, I think you can hear Alex and myself, but I don't think you can hear Ryan. Ryan, can you say something to Ben?
Hi, Ben.
No, he's just seeing your wave, I think.
I cannot hear Ryan.
Okay. Ask
I
him
can hear Corey and
to
Alex, not Ryan.
log out and then
Okay, log out and try to get back in. We're gonna do our introductions. You can log out and log back in.
No, you do that. This is fun.
All right.
And of course, our other esteemed guests, Alex. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
We're gonna come back to that in a little bit. I just want to hold you right there. Corey, how's it going,
Hey,
man?
buddy. I'm good, man. Enjoying my my tasty beverage and ready for the fantasy talks.
Awesome. Let's quickly cover the beers that we're drinking. What are you drinking? What do you want to drink? Go ahead, Alex. I know you just were dying to crack open something, man.
I was, but I've betrayed the brotherhood today.
Is it a hard water?
I'm lucky in the fact that I do have some great places to get good right around me, from liquor stores to the almighty Publix to really good breweries. Unfortunately, went to the liquor store the other night, could not find anything that was tipping my palate, so I had to go with this.
Jim Beam, what the hell is that, dude? Oh, it's that whiskey and cola. That's wild. I've never heard of that before.
Okay, we're going to chalk that up to a crafted cocktail. There's nothing wrong with that on this craft beer podcast that we always take.
Hey, teach your own, as my friend Ben would say.
What would you rate it out of 10?
I mean, I like bourbon, so I'd probably say around it's a decent 7,
Okay.
Okay. 7 is acceptable.
7 is acceptable, especially, Jim Beam. So.
I'm having that pumpkin beer you gave me, Ryan,
from
Craft Life. It is it's very tasty.
Ah.
It's one of the best ones I've had.
That's what I was telling you. I'm glad you shared it on the cast, man. Great job.
Mm-hmm.
Great job.
Repping the brew glass too. It's like backwards in the phone, so I'm going this way, but it's actually going the other way.
It's okay. We can see it, man. That's one of my all-time favorite, actually, craft beers in general. It rates up there with top 5 for me because it takes a lot to brew that beer. So.
It's good. And Ben's driving. Well, he's in his car, so we don't condone drinking and driving. So hopefully Ben does not have a roadie in his.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of staying out of jail, I'm not gonna tell you what I'm currently drinking.
We don't condone drinking and driving on this podcast, everybody.
I just got to double check. Can Ben hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Beautiful. Beautiful. If my lights go out, it's just my TV. For some reason, Sony built in like this thing.
Ryan's he's just getting spooky that Halloween's coming around. So he's like silhouette man.
Yeah, it's crazy. So one of the things that I brought to the table tonight, gentlemen, was Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing IPA. I don't know about you guys. I really enjoyed it.
Good.
Plus, it was buy 2 get 1 at Publix. So for $20, you get 21 beers. You can't really beat it. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about, I promised Cade that I would share. He can't join us this evening.
There's cat.
Yeah, that's the cat. He had to take his pig back to where he got the pig. No, don't worry, they're not slaughtering him or anything. He's moving, all this other stuff. I know, long story, Corey. I see the look on your face.
Yeah, you're gonna fill me in later.
I'm looking forward to some bacon.
Well, don't tell Ivar that, because
hey, we're all carnivores on here.
I told Kate that I would share this beer. What it was is it was the Soggy Bottom. I think it was an Imperial Pumpkin of some sort. I'm forgetting the name. It was the closest thing to the beer that Corey is drinking right now that I've ever had. It was so good. And again, that was at Soggy Bottom. Really couldn't get enough of it. And I truly want to send a good shout out to those folks out there that did a great job on that beer. I don't know.
Was that the slaughtered pumpkin?
I think so.
That's a hell of a name.
Right. And it was absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, it was the closest thing to the thing to the pumpkin that Corey's drinking.
Hey, Ryan, you probably know better than I do, but is there a Smashing Pumpkins pumpkin ale? Because if there's not, there needs to be.
So there's not to my knowledge, there's not a Smashing Pumpkins pumpkin beer. But there is. What did we come up with the other day?
There's I've got Untapped pulled up right now, and there's Smashing Pumpkin Ale.
Okay, well, same thing.
that quite a few different breweries make with a slight spelling change here and there.
Smoking pumpkins is what we were talking about.
That's what
Oh,
it was.
smoking.
So
Smoking pumpkins.
great way to tee that beer up there, Corey. So in the hopper, my buddy and I, Phil, I know Corey was going to come out, but he couldn't make it out the other day. We did a jalapeno pumpkin ale, and it's fermenting right now. I think it's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be interesting. That's for damn
We're
sure.
going to call it Smoking Pumpkins. So, because Headless Horseman was fucking taken. So, but anyway,
all right, let's kick it off. What do you got?
Ben, we know that you're not drinking anything tonight. That's perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and kick it off into this week's segment so that we can start talking about fantasy football. Guys, where are we at? How did you guys do? Who surprised you? And who did we forget to play? Corey, let's go ahead and start with you. Kick it off.
As you know, I'm in 3 leagues. I got 2 wins and a loss, and didn't expect a loss. All 3 teams did very well, scored over 130 points. But the team that I had lose had 3 players left in the Monday Night Football game. I had the Green Bay defense. I had T.J. Hawkinson, and I had Marvin Jones. And they couldn't muster up 8 points to get me the win, which is pretty embarrassing. Which I figured at least Green Bay D would pick up the slack. Like, you know what I'm saying, Ben? You know what I'm saying? But they didn't do it. But either way, you know, I think all 3 teams, well, 2 of the teams I believe are 4-2, and I think one's 3-3. So, not kick ass, but I'll take it. It's early, so and I'm fairly healthy. So
I feel like I need to ask Ben real quick. Ben, why didn't your Packers D help out Corey's team? And it's quite all right. Roll with the punches, man. That's what we do here. No worries.
I mean, can you guys hear that? I
It
apologize.
doesn't matter. Just go. We got this. We're good. It's what we do.
I mean, really, outside of the first 2 drives, the Packers tightened up. I mean, Detroit had 140 yards in the last 55 minutes. They just didn't get the turnovers, but that's a credit. Stafford shows up against Green Bay. It doesn't matter where we're playing. Stafford shows up, and a credit to him. I mean, we got a decent pass rush, but that game plan, they were doing quick passes. They knew the Smith brothers were coming, so that's just a credit to the Lions' game plan. But I think.
So basically, sorry, Corey, for your luck.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, buddy.
How'd your teams do, Ben? Are you in 2 leagues? I believe.
Yeah, I'm in 2 leagues. I'm 6-0 in one and 4-2 in the other.
Nice.
I have Connor Carson and Lamar Jackson in both. So needless to say, that's the reason I'm winning.
Fair enough.
I had Hunter Henry on the bench in my Yahoo league, and I streamed Gerald Everett. That was a mistake because I have Evan Ingram, but Evan Ingram was out. So
I was in the same situation. Not to cut you off, I was in the exact same situation, and I went to put in a claim for Everett. The guy before me put the claim in first, so he wasn't available. So I ended up getting Cook, who actually scored more points than Everett last week for a streamer for Ingram. But Ingram's going right back in the lineup this week, though. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Same thing for you too. So.
You know who I had on my bench this week? Galladay on my Yahoo league, and he put up some points.
Ryan's killing this year.
I lost by 2 points. So
did you?
Yeah, in the Yahoo league, I lost by 2 points.
You know, my dad's in his first year of fantasy. He took over a team this year. He was going to start Ridley over Galladay because he didn't know who Galladay was. And I told him he was an idiot, and he put him in the starting lineup because I told him to, and he thanked me later. He won
there you
this
go.
week.
All right, Alex, how'd you do, man? Don't tell us everything. Just don't tell. I got a segment just for you, buddy. I have a segment just for you. It's coming. Don't worry.
All right. So I'm in 2 leagues, lost in both, and I'm actually dropping out of one of my leagues.
Okay.
There's no money involved or anything. It was a purely bragging rights league, and it's been going for about 4 years now. And basically, it's turned into a mess. Just because with any league, you know, you're there with friends, you're there with coworkers, you're trash talking, you're communicating, talking about this stuff. And this year, this league has been completely silent and not fun at all.
Mm.
There's been no back and forth, so it's like,
Well, it being a free league, it's just
so
that's an easy decision.
It's running on automatic now, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like, not even worth dealing with. The league that does have money on the line, the one that I'm invested in, the one that's a topic of conversation every day at work, that one I also lost. I lost badly. Very badly.
Can you?
We're gonna come back to Alex here in just a minute.
Yeah,
I promise
okay.
we're gonna come
Right.
back. There's a specific reason. There's a whole segment devoted to Alex's frustration.
Okay.
My frustration of this whole season.
I have a feeling Mr. Alex might have Mr. Mike Evans on his team.
I wish.
It might. I'll give a little teaser. It might be a Buccaneers player of some sort.
Okay, I know where you're going with this.
I'm gonna go ahead and just go through mine real quick. As I said, lost by 2 points in the Yahoo League.
Yep.
It happens. I didn't play Galladay. He would have had some points for me. That's okay. We work it out. The other league, I went into this week thinking, okay, Hill's back. He's coming back from a broken collarbone. Hasn't played since week 1. Are they really going to feed him? Is he going to hold up the whole game, or is he just going to be a decoy because he's on the field? Bad fucking idea. Bad idea. I'm not saying
Ryan hasn't made one right move in that league, and I feel bad for the guy. Injuries. I mean, to give you a quick rundown, you tell him, Ryan. Tell my friend Ben who.
At least in 2 games this year, I thought I had players in positions at starting that were on the bench when the game started, and I'm just like, oh my god, what happened? Like,
well, start at the draft. What happened at the draft? Well, I know we talked about it in episode 1, but just give a quick
drafted running back for the Texans. He went down with an ACL tear, so he was out.
Miller.
Yeah, Miller went out the last preseason game done. So that happened. Who else?
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees. He's done.
Hunter Henry.
Keeping him. Like
Tyreek Hill.
Yep. Injury after injury. And then I draft people, and then I picked up Rex Burkhead. He's out. Like, everybody I pick up is done. And I started Rex Burkhead, like, thinking he's going to start, and he was questionable, and then he didn't start. And I'm like, oh, well, there goes that fucking spot. So I lost to your 40 points, which Tyreek Hill,
you can't
20.
I hate to say it, but I don't touch anybody from New England. There's just the way their offense operates. I mean, it's a great team, great offense, but fantasy wise, I'm not touching anybody in that offense other than Tom Brady.
I get that, but I mean, if you look at what Burkhead was putting up, like, I mean, let me just go.
They're mostly goal line touchdowns. He'd have some receiving.
No, I'm starting him this week. He's still questionable. Don't worry. But no, I mean, he's put up 11, 7.8, and 15.9 the week I picked him up, and then he put up 1.2. I guess that's when he got hurt. So, I was thinking he's put up some points. He gets those points. So I'm thinking I got nobody else at running back, so why not start Burkhead? Well, he didn't play. So that's been my week, but. I want to cycle back around, and I want to go back to Alex for a second, if we can. This segment is called Woes.
Winston Woes?
The Winston
Woes.
The Winston Woes. Alex, I
can't.
2 or 3 minutes.
I can't give them up.
In your mind.
I can't. I keep holding out hope. This is the week.
Oh, are you a homer too?
A homer?
Yeah, like Ryan. I love the Steelers. Ryan knows that just as much as Ryan does. But when it comes to fantasy, I draw the line on my homer picks because that's my home team. And
I got you.
Who's
I guess it's more of like I've been watching Winston ever since he was back at Florida State. So I guess
okay.
like watching him and his career, and it's like, okay, he's going. Let's go. Let's get it done. He's doing great. Like, oh, first year in the NFL. All right, he's going to rock this. Not so much. Okay, second year in the NFL. Did all right. Third year in the NFL. Okay. Fourth year in the NFL. You inconsistent little shit. You're killing me, dude.
Who turns the ball over 7 times? Is that what happened? I heard 7. I heard there were 7 turnovers.
Well, no, he leads the NFL in turnovers since
He does.
The year he was drafted.
Yeah, that year he led it. It's been a frustration. Right now, he has in his entire NFL career, he has a 61% completion rate.
That's still pretty good.
It is.
67's better, but 61's not bad. But what's his
frustration?
What's his
Right, but when it absolutely matters, he throws interceptions and fumbles. That's unfortunately what.
Yeah.
Josh
The
Allen
pressure and the
is
nervousness get to him.
45, so.
Yeah. Oh, is he?
He's what?
Oh, actually, I have no idea. But it's not good.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Now, to that point, though, one thing that I do want to say in favor of your Winston woes, Alex, it looked like, especially the last game, it looked like Winston didn't have any time. So, I mean, is it really Winston or is it the offensive line? Because let's get down to the crucial parts of this. If you don't have an offensive line, you don't have time, you can't throw the ball. If Brady didn't have an offensive line, he would be nowhere near as good, probably wouldn't even be in the league because he would take too many hits. So is it, what came first, chicken or the egg, right?
It is. And the offensive line is incredibly important, especially to the time, getting out of there, getting where it needs to go, giving him time to focus on where he wants to put it. He spent a lot of time, and it gives credit to how good he actually is that with the limited amount of time, at least he gets it somewhere near. Isn't just pitching it outside or taking a knee or anything like that. He's getting as close as he can.
So
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the line is where it starts, like you said, and it's not good. It's never been good since he's been there, but he hasn't been bad. But he's been bad when it counts, is I think the main thing. But also, I feel like he relies too much on his receivers like Mike Evans and now Godwin to make those plays for him. I feel like he doesn't have the timing or the anticipation, I guess, like some quarterbacks have, where they can throw the receivers open. You know what I mean? Like a Brady, a Breeze. Big Ben used to do it. With Antonio Brown all the time. So, yeah, I think it's a little bit of both.
Now, Corey, you just mentioned Big Ben. He made those plays, and he made them spectacular. He had a lot of interceptions early in his career. He still has some now. Not now when he's injured, but under Bruce Arians, there wasn't the greatest offensive line when he was playing, but he made those plays happen, and he didn't always turn the ball over. There were some magical, memorable moments. So is it that, at the end of the day, that says a lot, but a lot of people are saying, just throw the ball away. Just throw the ball away. Try not to make any magic happen. But what if he makes that magic happen, as the season progresses? Are they going to say, oh, he shouldn't have thrown the ball away. He should have thrown it downfield? Like, that's kind of the question. That's the give and take with the NFL. If you make the play, you're a god. If you don't make the play, you're a fucking hated man for a week and you're getting no crab legs. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
Oh, sorry, did I just say that?
I'm pretty.
Rich think he get his own crab legs.
Yeah.
So,
go
ahead. Or, sorry, Corey. I cut you off.
Just like you said, unfortunately, I think he's had enough time in the NFL. He's not bad. I think, just as my opinion, he's a bottom tier starter. He's a starter, but he's a bottom tier starter. I don't know what's going to happen next year. I honestly think, in my personal opinion, with Bruce Arians, I feel like Tampa has the best coaches they've ever had in Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles on the coaching staff. So it's going to take a couple years for them to put the team together they want. But of course, when Arians comes in, he's got to say that Winston is the quarterback. Why would he not? Going into next year, though, I have a feeling they're going to snag one of those guys in the first round. There's like 5 first-round quarterbacks coming out next year. So that's just my opinion. I don't think Winston's going to be Arians' guy.
Well, and Corey, anybody that knows you really well, like myself, knows that your opinion usually is not wrong. So, which we're
oh shucks.
Don't blush too hard, buddy. Don't blush too hard. I will say this: though we're covering week to week, and eventually the NFL Fantasy Football League dies down, before the playoffs, maybe a little bit before that, we will ramp up, and this is a good time to go ahead and throw that in there. If you're still listening to us, we will ramp up the beginning of training camp or before the draft and all of that mock draft bullshit that goes on every
Oh
week.
yeah, heck yeah, I'm all about that, my friend.
Because we need to talk draft picks, we need to talk who you're going to take as a rookie and who you're going to keep, all that stuff. So next year, 2020, that's a big year, and we'll be hitting our stride with our followers. So
plus, we got to prepare for the XFL. Like, come on. Gotta prepare.
Hey, we could talk about XFL. I think that'd be a fun thing, and I really need that for my own personal being, because if you guys know me, I don't always watch a lot of college football. So I think this is a really engaging way to get more people to follow, listen. If you're not into it, now you're going to be into it at least a little bit. You're going to hear more stuff. So we'll
see.
We'll
see.
Post the season. Sporadic,
Why not? Well, remember the old XFL.
You know what I mean?
Guess who the quarterback was before Big Ben? Tommy Maddox. Where did Tommy Maddox come from? Tommy Gun, the XFL.
He did.
Yeah, man.
Did he really?
Yes.
No, he did.
Wow.
He really did.
Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely.
No.
100%.
All I remember is He Hate Me.
There was He Hate Me. He ended up playing for Carolina. But Tommy Maddox, 100%. If you don't believe me, you can buy me a beer after you look it up after the podcast.
I'm not taking that bet. I'll still buy it, but I'm not taking it.
Right.
That being said, does Antonio Brown end up in the XFL?
Yes.
No,
that's exactly where you're going.
I think he's going to be. I think he's shut out from the league this year, and I think unfortunately somebody's going to probably. He's just so talented. I think somebody's just going to, like a Miami or somebody's just going to try to give him a flyer next year. I mean, it's somebody that's desperate. That he is a Hall of Fame talent, and
he is, and we've talked about
in today's cancel culture. The team would have to be in such a rough place to take on that burden of all that.
I agree. I wouldn't touch him. If I have a successful team right now in the NFL, I'm not touching the guy because he's a cancer, in my opinion. And I hate to say it, but if a team like New England and Bill Belichick can't do it, nobody can.
And to that point, and to your point, Alex, he canceled himself in so many ways. If all of that stuff leading up to, like, if it didn't work out with the Raiders and they let him, or they traded him to New England or something, sure. But from the throwing the furniture out of the window in Pittsburgh or wherever hotel he was at when he was still with Pittsburgh, he walked in with his feet and he burned his feet off, and the helmet thing, and then all this other stuff. We haven't heard anything about the rape case in weeks, so it's like I don't really know what's going on. He canceled himself based on what he did. Yeah. And we don't need too much on that. But
I still think there's a team out there, like I said, next year, like a Miami or Washington, because he lives in Miami. So
he's still end up a 49er. Well, he's not going to go to Miami.
Well, he lives in Miami. So, if you're in Miami Dolphins and you're rebuilding for a few years, you want to sell some tickets and put some meat in the seats, as they like to say. The guy lives in Miami. Just let him do whatever he wants to do and be off the rails.
Fair enough.
But people are going to be in the seats. It doesn't matter if you win football games. That's just my opinion. I mean, that's literally the only team, if I sit here right now, that if I was a part of the Miami Dolphins organization, I'd be like, yeah, man, come on, let's play. Yeah, he's going to sell tickets. He's going to sell jerseys. But just let him do whatever he wants to do. Doesn't want to practice on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever.
AJ,
Saturday.
that reason why.
Doesn't have to do a walkthrough, but he shows up on Sunday and catches a touchdown.
Yeah, you can't knock his talent, but we're gonna move on here. But again, you can't knock his talent. He's gotta change a little bit. Just humble yourself a little bit, AB. You'll get back in there. We won't see you in the XFL. Let's move on to injuries. I think that was a great segment, and appreciate Alex sharing his Winston woes. We'll see if he plays them again this weekend. We'll touch base next week. But what about injuries this week? Corey, I know you had to overcome Gurley being out. What'd you do in that place?
Yeah, I have him in a league where I also had Leonard. It's a 14. It's our league that we're in together. It's a 14 team league. I had Leonard Fournette, and I had Miles Sanders to replace him. Unfortunately, Miles Sanders is a rookie for the Eagles, and he's not really toting the rock a lot. Jordan Howard's taking a lot of those carries, but he does score some points. He's a half decent flex option right now as a rookie, catching passes. He actually had a long one last week. So that kind of saved me there and helped me win that game. So Gurley didn't play. He's questionable right now, and he's truly questionable. There's no word on yes or no or how things look. Apparently, this is completely different than his knee issue. So I really don't know.
Sorry about that. We were trying to find Ashley's phone. She hasn't found it yet. Not sure where she misplaced it. But Alex, did you have to overcome any injuries this weekend?
No, knock on wood, despite all my quote-unquote Winston woes. I've been extremely lucky this season with fantasy football in that outside of Drew Brees, I haven't had a single injury on any of my players. Every single one has been healthy or at least ready to go by game time.
Well, aren't you fucking special? Thank you.
I know, right? Hey, knock on wood, hey, at least one good thing.
Ryan, your team in our league is hands down the most unlucky team I've ever come across since playing for, like I said, I've been playing for 15 years. What can you do except for throw your hands up and just give it your best shot, and then try to start planning for next year, because the league we're in is a keeper league. So,
between Breeze, between Hill, between
Lamar Miller,
between
Hunter Henry was gone for 4 weeks or something.
It's I mean, maybe that's where I forget that I'm starting players, because I'm like, oh, he's not even available. He's probably hurt. I thought this year's woes were gonna lay with our good buddy Robert, but that's not happening. Because he drafted Andrew Luck, and then you like a day later or something.
Yeah, his year isn't going as planned though. No, that's very unlikely. But no, a lot of it is because of Sony Michel too. He looked like he was going to have a solid second year. I liked him coming out of Georgia, solid rookie season, especially at the end of the year last year and the playoffs for New England, and he virtually has done absolutely nothing. But it's that system. I don't trust one player in that system other than Tom Brady.
That is the Patriots. So,
yep, it's always been that way.
Any other
outside of Randy Moss?
Any other notable injuries that people should be aware of? I don't think.
Well, you've got.
This week was relatively injury free, for the most part.
Yeah, I don't think it was a big injury week. I mean, Jalen Samuels is still hurt. James Washington's still hurt. I just know that because of being a Steelers fan. So they're not major fantasy injuries.
Obviously.
Yeah, he's questionable. Sam
Singletary.
Yeah. Sam Darnold came back this week. I don't think there was any major injuries.
They whooped the ass on that Cowboys team.
Yeah, Cowboys won 3 in a row, lost 3 in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, that was brutal.
There was a post. Let me see if I can find it. There was a post. Evidently, the Cowboys was the first time wonder if I screen saved it. Probably not. I don't even know. It was the first time since like 1980 something where a team had lost leading all these categories, and then they still lost in like the, I don't know, I'll have to find it.
Hey, you know what that reminds me of?
What's up?
A couple weeks ago, whenever we played the Niners, the Steelers played the Niners, had 5 turnovers. It was the first team that ever lost a football game that had 5 turnovers.
Yeah, that happened.
A 5 turnover differential.
That did happen.
Wasn't a 5 turnover differential? I don't think we turned the ball over once.
I think we ended up turning the ball over twice. We were still up by 3 turnovers.
Okay. Still, it's
and we're actually going to touch on that here in a second. I just want to cover this real quick, and then we'll move on. Week 7 buys: Carolina, or Cleveland, Tampa, and the Steelers. Don't play anybody. I already made sure nobody on that team is on my bench. Or everybody.
You're still playing a Steeler. I know you are.
Boswell might still be active. Maybe it didn't work, but as reassurance, I did send a screenshot today to Corey of my team.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey,
here's
just
proof.
Verification. Here's proof that I've got a solid lineup, and my team's actually projecting 100 points. So I'm actually happy about that. I got Hill back. I got Hilton. Josh Jacobs is back in there.
You know what? Josh Jacobs, he's doing pretty good for you, man. He's going to be your rookie keeper this year for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to actually. Real quick before we go into the sleeper picks and all this other stuff. I got a sidebar question for you guys. I got a notification today for a trade, and I want to see what your thoughts are on this. Anybody?
Good point. I got a trade coming up next too.
Okay, cool. Let's hear about yours too. So I have Galladay and Brown from Tennessee, not Brown from
AJ Brown. Right.
AJ Brown, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Galladay's got me, total of 60 fantasy points this year. Brown's got 40.
Okay.
I got a guy from the Brew League that I'm in, the Yahoo Brew League, wants to trade me Jay Brown from Buffalo, who's questionable.
John Brown.
Yep. And Tevin Coleman, which I had experience having last year in San Francisco. They got 45 points and 33 points. Do I trade
who else?
I want to keep Galladay, to be honest with you. Like I want to keep AJ Brown, maybe not so much, but Galladay's got 60 points.
Here's the deal, though. I agree. I mean, from a receiver standpoint, he's the best receiver in that trade. I think Brown and AJ Brown is a push. If not, Brown is a little bit better than John Brown is a little bit better than AJ Brown.
Yeah.
As we sit now in fantasy, not by much, but a little bit. Coleman, I hear you out, but he's on a different team this year, and that team has been ridiculous running the ball. In the minute that guy came back healthy, he had more touches than Matt Breida, I believe, 2 weeks in a row. But the Niners fullback has been hurt, and their offensive line is a little banged up. So for the next week or two, it might be not the same kind of expected points out of him. That's a tough trade in my opinion. I guess I would have to look at the rest of your team. If you need a running back, you need to do that trade. But if you're going to take a huge hit by losing Galladay, if he's an everyday week starter, which he probably is, then you might be taking a hit at receiver. So I guess it depends on who you have.
I've got Rivers, Amari Cooper, he's questionable. I got Sanders, possibly questionable.
What's Sanders, Emmanuel?
Emmanuel.
Okay.
I got, which he went out early in the game, which is why we lost by 2 points too. Le'Veon Bell. I got Brown in place of Gurley. I got M. Brown from LA Rams.
Yeah.
Which now just been updated to questionable. So thank you, Yahoo.
Okay. Your whole team's questionable.
One of these years. I got Eifert starting at tight end because Metcalf is not Metcalf, I'm sorry. OJ Howard, they're out on a bye week. Then I got Galladay starting in the flex. And because Metcalf is I just benched him. And still holding on to James Washington. They're on a bye. Oh, great. My kicker's on a bye. Got to find a new kicker. Didn't realize that. and then starting Baltimore's defense. So I think I'm not going to. I don't think I'm going to take that trade. I think I've got too many things, too many challenges to overcome to not.
Who's your third running back right now?
Gurley's out.
Oh, so you have Gurley, Bell,
Gurley's on the bench. Yeah.
and you said Marlon Mack from the Colts.
No, Brown. Malcolm Brown. The Rams.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he doesn't really play.
Yeah. He was available.
Yeah. Oh, because of Gurley being hurt.
And now he's questioned.
With Gurley, him, and Bell, you might want to wait on that trade. I don't think it's a bad trade. I think Coleman can give you some value. That team's been rushing for like 250 yards every week.
So then I should trade AJ Brown for Tevin Coleman.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
If you can.
I
don't know if he's going to say yes to that, but if he does, then absolutely.
If he wants AJ Brown, I'll give him AJ Brown, but I want Coleman. They both put up. So Tevin Coleman's put up 33 points and AJ Brown's put up 39. That's close enough for me, but I'm not giving him Galladay. No.
Well, give him hell. Try it out. See what happens.
All right. Cool. That's what I'll do.
Oh, my trade, real quick.
Yeah.
So I woke up to a trade yesterday morning in one of my leagues. Leonard Fournette, who's had a couple good weeks, finally, after, man, he had a rough year last year, rough start this year, and he's had a couple good weeks. But I woke up to Leonard Fournette, me basically giving up Fournette for Aaron Jones of the Packers and Cooper Kupp. And in that particular team, I could have used an upgrade at receiver. Cooper Kupp's the number 3 receiver, if I'm not mistaken, right now in fantasy. And then Aaron Jones hasn't been too shabby too. He had a big week, not this week on Monday, but the week before he had 4 touchdowns. So I said, heck yeah, to that trade. Because I also had Le'Veon Bell and James Conner too at running back. So I figured, hey, I need an upgraded receiver. I could be okay with losing a little bit between Fournette and Jones as a flex option. But I'm upgrading massively at receiver with Brandon Cooper Kupp. So that's my trade.
Oh, Cooper Kupp's been lighting it up.
Yep.
Hope
Except
that's
for last week he had one point or something. It was mainly just because of that Rams offense. But other than that, he's had 20 points every week.
I feel like it's been somewhat of a common theme this year where, with exception to a vast majority of players, it's like a player hits it big one week and then they kind of slow down the next week and then they really hit it big. Like
I think it's just the NFL in general. I don't know if it's game planning or the teams, but
no, I was just saying that was my punchline. Like Winston, 1 week he's up, 1 week he's sorry, Alex. I just no tears. All right, Alex, do you have any trade prospects, or are you solid?
Nope. I'm solid. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm sticking with who I got, and come what may. I've
there you go.
offered a couple things, but I've said nope. I just can't let them go. I just can't. These players, so many players on my team. I did the preseason research on. It's like, yep, this is who I'm going with. This is what I'm doing. I'm sticking with it, and comes what may.
Not a bad strategy. Sometimes that one works most often.
I dig it.
Stay the course.
All right. We are about running out of time. What I want to do here is kind of a rundown of.
You want to do the picks?
Well, before we go in the picks, I just want to kind of cover a couple of minutes here. It's been a common theme the last couple of years where there's been some questionable calls. Pittsburgh fans, we still remember Jesse James catching the football. I think we all kind of agreed that, that geared the rule to change for the catch. Refs getting involved. right? So really, what I'm gearing towards is the game the other night. I think it was Monday Night Football, Lions versus the Packers, and I wish Ben was still on. I know he had to go, but I really wanted to get his take.
I know. Yeah, he said next week he'll be in a better situation. So
Yeah.
he had to take off and
Perfectly fine.
not safe to podcast and drive.
No, perfectly understood, totally understandable. But when you get a game that's being controlled by a team and then there's just two blatantly bad penalties that kind of keep that other team in for the mix, that other team ends up winning. And it kind of takes away that adapt, improvise, and overcome mentality because you can't always adapt, you can't always improvise, and you can't always overcome. You can overcome the challenges when you're facing a direct challenge, but when there's outside forces, it's a little tough. Am I wrong?
No,
No.
but I can tell you right now, at least from what I've seen, and I wish Ben was on here. And I'm going to tell him to listen to this and bring his thoughts back in next week. But we actually talked about this today, and I know I told you, Ryan, about the game last week with Pittsburgh and Baltimore, how you thought about that call, and I thought about the call too on where and then he went low on Jackson, but I felt it wasn't that low. They replayed it. He went waistline, right? But anyway, the officiating I feel like has been just as bad for both teams in every game I've watched. So you can't really say, in my opinion, one call has caused that game. For instance, like I was telling you about the Steelers Baltimore game, there was an interception by Bush. Great effort for the ball. He had it in his arm, but he did. If you looked at the replay, he did use the ground to secure it. But what I'm seeing is the refs are sticking to their original call as hard as they possibly can, and I don't fault them for that. I think they're trying to cut down on some of these things. I'm not on their side by any means, but that's just my observation. That hey, you're challenging this. Yeah, maybe you could have gone the other way, but you know what? No, we're sticking to the call. Unless it's something way obvious and way ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Which
I think that's their agenda of what they're doing this year. But like I said, but what the games that I've seen have gone both ways. Bad call on that team, then there's a bad call on that team. There's a bad call on that team. So I haven't seen one this year that has been one-sided.
It's consistent with good calls. It's consistent with bad calls. When you get those crucial calls, I think that's really like when you get a 15-yard penalty for something, that's when it's like, especially at a crucial point in the game.
Right.
Talking about Detroit, you got a guy playing hard out defensively and gets called for a penalty. That blatantly is a penalty. I mean, you could look up at the jumbotron. You could, like at that point, I guess the real topic of conversation. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but where do we start to gauge, truth versus fantasy at that point?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
When it happens fast, yeah, that's a gut reaction call. Like you're like, oh, there's, the guy's head went back. There's, hands to the face. But then you look at the replay, I was like, ooh.
Well, that's the thing. You slow anything down, you're going to find differences than whenever you saw it in real time. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to the fix. I feel like the NFL has just dug them so deep into this.
Mm-hmm.
When I watch any other game other than the Steelers, because I'm a fan, it's very hard for me to watch anymore because it's just flag. Let the guys play, man. I love to see the games. There was one, I think it was when the Packers played the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken, that there could have been interference calls, pass interference, but they didn't call them. But it was on both sides, and they were consistent. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
You know what I mean? Let them play. If you're not going to call pass interference on that, you're not going to call it on the other team too. Hell yeah, let's start the game off that way. That's fine. Just consistency needs to be the key. If you're going to throw a million flags on everything, then that's the way we're going to play it. I hate to see it, but at least we know. But if they're not going to throw flags and you can get away with a little hold, a little snag on the jersey, if you can get away with a little pass interference, I'm totally okay with that too. I'd rather have that, to be honest with you.
I totally agree with that because, going back to your penalty call against Pittsburgh, I think it was last week against the Ravens, there was another play that very same day where Dak Prescott basically got flipped on his back and he was going backwards and there was no penalty. You know what I mean? And so that's where it's like, I hate to say that we lost that game because of that play, but it was such a crucial time of the game. And it should never come down. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it should never come down to an officiating call that gives the other team the advantage on the last drive of the game. Right?
Correct. And
I don't know. I felt like that did in the last 2 minutes for the Baltimore Ravens versus Steelers game.
Do you?
I felt like it did the
But
same.
you can't restrict making a call like that just because of the situation.
Right. Well, that's
where it's like, that happened in the Steelers game, but against Dallas, like Dak was on his back, throwing the ball away, getting hit low, and it's like
here's an idea. No, I totally agree with you, Alex. But here's an idea. What if they, moving into next year, again, you're just adding more to this mess, but what if it was under 2 minutes or 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, that any plays reviewable beyond holding? You know what I'm saying? Again, we're just adding too much to this mess. At the end of the day, we just got to trust officiating, and at the end of the day, officiating has to be consistent. Either way,
exactly. We have to. If you can't, the officials going to make mistakes. Of course, they are.
Yeah, we're not saying we're not saying they won't. It's the crucial, pivotal points in the game.
But here's the thing, man. Like you said, Alex, everybody makes mistakes, right? At your job that you do, everybody's going to make a mistake from time to time. And if that becomes a pattern, that person needs to be, suspended or fired. And I like to think the NFL has the same policy. I don't know though. I don't know if there's a lack of officiating coming
Huge
up.
lack. Huge lack.
Well, then maybe that's it. Maybe there's no disciplinary actions against things like that. I feel like they should. Maybe they do, and I don't know about it. I feel like they should review these games weekly, and basically from a performance standpoint for the officiating. Do they? I don't know.
I think they have like
a post game, hold them accountable, or at least come out and say, "Hey, we were wrong." They should. I mean, you can clearly see the replay.
Yeah, but that's just going to make it worse, right? I mean, if somebody comes out and says, "I'm wrong, I ruined the game,"
then especially if they go out in a press conference and say, hey, official John Smith, made this mistake. The next time he's officiating a game, here are your officials for tonight's game. John Smith, who totally effed up the calls last week.
Oh, he's getting a glass beer. He's getting a beer bottle to the head.
Yeah,
exactly. So they can't do that. It puts them too much in the crosshair. It puts them almost too accountable.
Well, that's
the organization and the training themselves has to be accountable.
Well, and I think there should be disciplinary action that's announced. Let's say there is such a bad call that Saints. This all came a lot from that Saints playoff game last year, and that was bad. Maybe you suspend that referee for 4 to 6 games, like a player,
right?
Or maybe he gets fired. Would that, if you were a Saints fan, would that make you at least a little bit better? Probably, right?
As a Saints fan, but would it be good for league and an organization together? It's like you make one mistake and you're gone.
No, I know. I'm not saying fire, but there does need to be disciplinary action. But at the same time, it's hard, man. These guys are flying.
Yeah, they are.
But like we just talked about before, this whole thing is you can't look at every single play in replay. It's just
no.
I don't know. It's just it's never going to be perfect.
Way unless there is
humans
crew There's no possible way unless there's an officiating crew on the field and somebody can look at a replay in the 10 seconds that we all see a replay and say, hey, you know what? You should probably change that call. And as they're discussing in their little referee huddle, hey, there was no flag on the play. That way, we never know. Like, there was a flag throw, but how many times, Corey, as a Steelers fan, we have a great play, and it's like, oh, wait, no, there's a flag. No. And we always think it's us, We always think it's us.
Every single time. But,
Every single time. It's like, no, it's coming back. And then
I'm knocking on wood,
Like,
but as rough as the Steelers season has been this year,
yeah,
most of the flags have been against the other teams.
and thankfully, because
Usually it's
we all rejoice. We're like, yay, it's not against us, because we're so used to getting penalties. But what if in that little huddle they say, hey, they got New York looking at it. You know what? That wasn't really a flag. Just pick it up and say there was no foul to play. And then don't show us a replay. Don't show the jumbotron replay. Just go.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. If basically call comes in from New York saying you guys need to pick up that flag.
Pick it up,
and they
don't
announce
show the
it.
replay.
New York has,
Don't let us know. Don't even let us see it.
No. New York has picked up the flag.
Exactly.
And move on.
New York, or the eye above the sky has determined there is no flag. Whatever.
AI, robo officiants.
But then everybody's like, oh, we want to see the play. No, we don't need to see the play. We fucked up. We threw it inadvertently. And then that way it limits what we know, but at the same time, it's like, just keep the pace of the game. Let's just keep moving. Because far too many times, and we'll summarize with this, and we're going to go on the last segment, which is our picks for the week. Far too many times we see this, and it changes our mentality for the outcome of the game. And far too many times have there been, like, fantastic plays that have been overturned by bullshit calls that we could be looking at the history books. Like, what if all the history that we've ever seen in those NFL films was completely different because there was a penalty?
Well, this is my point. I was watching a different angle on the Immaculate Reception today, and I still believe it's a catch. But just imagine that somebody had a different video camera that never came out, like the Zapruder film,
right?
With John F. Kennedy, and it hit the ground. Imagine, like, why would you want to do that? Like, just let it be, move on. But then imagine being an Oakland fan, Ryan. They're still pissed about that.
Yeah, well, they still want a couple.
You got to put themselves in your. You know what I mean? You got to put yourself in their shoes too sometimes.
All right, I think that's been fun banter.
All right,
I think it's been good.
Hey, real quick before we go into the pick.
Yeah.
Last little fantasy note. That you talked about who you had in the bench that you regret having on the bench, Golden Tate. I think I told you guys a couple weeks ago to pick Golden Tate up as a stash in your bench because he's getting ready to come back from suspension. So I did, and I sat him the first week, and then my gut told me you need to start him this week because he's a player, man. He's definitely their number one receiver now, and I knew that going into the year. Sat him on the bench, and he had 22 points. So kind of bummed out about that, but luckily I still won that league, so it wasn't a big deal.
Well, I'm glad that worked out for you, Corey. I still left Hill on the bench, and so we're not all winners.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into the last segment of the day, which I'm going to try to keep track of best as possible. I can always go back and listen to the tape. We don't have a lot of time. We got about 5 minutes. We got tomorrow night's matchup: Kansas City versus Broncos at Denver. Who you got?
Denver.
Bold pick, Cotton. I would like to have the sexy pick of Denver too, but I'm gonna say Kansas City gets back to it. Denver's been tough though. They've been one of those sneaky teams, man.
Yeah, sneaky, but haven't won much.
Right.
But
they're not getting blown out though. You know what I mean? They're
not getting blown out, but I'm gonna take KC too. Even though Mahomes might have a little bit of an ankle issue, I think.
Oh, his cannon's fine.
Yeah, he can still throw. So I'm taking KC as well. We got.
It's just a flesh wound.
It's just a flesh wound. We got Sunday 1:00 matchups. Remember, the Bucs are not playing. The Steelers are not playing. The Ravens the Browns are not playing, and I forget Carolina's not playing. So they're on their bye week. Who do you guys got in the? Give me 1 second once my computer starts back up because the lights are turned off. Miami, Buffalo. Well, that's an easy pick.
Yeah, that's Buffalo all day.
I think we're across the board there.
Buffalo.
Oh!
Buffalo wings.
I still want to feel like I want to feel what it feels like, but don't want to feel what it feels like to be thrown through a plastic table. Just saying, foldable table. Just saying, throwing it out there.
Nah, I'd rather go through a wooden table and do the real deal, my friend. WWF style. Remember the Dudley Boys?
The Dudley Bowl.
Throwing people through tables. Yeah.
Right. So I think we're all across the board there. Corey, we could probably plan that for your bachelor party.
At least 3 or 4 tables.
At least. Bring your insurance cards with you.
Yeah. See, the trick is you got to pre-cut the bottom a little bit so you can't see it. So it just makes it much easier. So you're not. I've seen some bad. If you just go to YouTube, I've seen some bad table disasters. Mainly, it's like college kids jumping from the dorm rooms, like hammered drunk at parties, and then they miss the table order.
I saw a chick jump through a glass table the other day, and I'm just like, all right, this is enough internet for me.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you got to know, just don't be stupid. Jacksonville at Bengals.
Jacksonville.
Now, they did just get rid of Ramsey.
Ramsey.
Right?
Yeah, but I don't think he played like for a week or two, or it doesn't. He's given up on them. I don't think that's really going to matter that much. I think Jacksonville, even though I just traded Fournette, I think Fournette's he's going to have another good game. He's going to run over the Bungles.
I'm going to start Minshew this week as my quarterback. I'm trusting in Minshew. Jacksonville over the Bengals myself. We got Vikings over at Detroit. I'm taking Vikings. I'm just going to jump right in and say I think they played really good last week.
I agree.
Yeah.
Minnesota's going to take it.
Vikings, it's a divisional game though. It's going to be tight, and they just played a pretty decent game against Green Bay. But I go Vikings.
Yep, I think I feel like Detroit's kind of worn out from the refs. So, what can I do?
Yeah.
Raiders, Green Bay. Who do we take? I'm taking the refs on this one, boys.
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
It's probably fair to say Ben's taking Green Bay too.
We'll take.
Yeah.
That'll be Ben's only pick here on this list.
I can have him compile a list and shoot it to you.
That'd be great. Rams at Falcons. I'm gonna jump on the Rams here for whatever reason. It's
at Falcons.
It's at Falcons.
Yeah, it's at Atlanta.
Like nothing Atlanta has been consistent. I just for whatever reason.
Exactly. That's why I'm going Atlanta at home.
You're going
Matty Ice in a dome.
Rams. You're going Matty Ice.
I'm gonna have to go with Rams, but I think it's gonna be a better game than anybody thinks.
So you're taking the Rams.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams. Yeah.
All right.
Hot Atlanta here.
Hot Atlanta for Corey. Texans, Colts. Coming off the bye week for the Colts. Texans.
This might be the best game of the week.
I'm gonna watch it.
It should be a good game.
I don't know who's home.
At Colts. It's in Indianapolis.
In a dome. Loud, but coming off the bye week, they're fresh. Jacoby Brissett throwing up touchdowns. Got T.Y. Hilton. You know, there's a
You'd
lot.
You'd like to think Houston wins because of talent, but I'm going to go Colts. Colts at home. I don't think they're banged up. I think it's going to be like a 3-point game.
Alex?
Colts. Yeah, I mean it's the same thing. It's just going to be Indianapolis at home, coming off of a bye week. They're well rested. It's going to be a slam dunk.
As long as T.Y. Hilton gets me 20 points, I don't care what happens, but I am going to be the odd man out here and go Houston.
You're always the odd man out, Ryan.
I know. I'm going Houston because I feel like momentum gets lost coming off a bye week. And Texans, though they're kind of beat up from last week's game, I think because they're coming off a win, if I'm not mistaken. But I feel like there was a week 1 loss that Houston really put up a fight, and I think that they're getting the momentum back. So I'm gonna take that. San Fran at Washington.
Do we even have to ask?
No, we're just gonna go San Fran for everybody.
Yeah, this is going to be San Francisco all day long.
Although I do want to say this, Smith, what was his name? The quarterback.
Alex
Smith has had 17 surgeries since he broke his leg because the healing just won't heal. I saw that today. I was like, man, 17 surgeries? Like, it sounds like ultimately, if it doesn't heal, he's going to lose his leg.
Hey, Ryan, if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can see it. Yeah, I kind of want to take a screenshot of the last face you made, but it's like a.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, jump back in.
We've got half the games to pick.
Come on, come back. Texting right now. Come back.
One of these times we're gonna have everybody on the podcast.
This happened last time.
Everything working completely all the way through.
I never even followed up with that last one because I was just like, well, whatever. And then it was like 2 weeks went by, so I was like, nobody cares about week 4 predictions.
Done. Let's watch TV.
We're not even through the 1 o'clock games. All right, Alex, we're gonna finish with each other here for a second. That sounds terrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chat it. I need some food. Cardinals at New York. I'm taking New York.
Yeah, I'm gonna take New York in this one. If it was swapped, if they were in Arizona, I would take Arizona. But New York, they get a lot of positive, feedback. They get a lot of good vibes when they're at home.
They do, and I know they've got a lot of issues right now, but I think Danny Dimes is leading the charge. So I'll take that. And 2 rookie quarterbacks, though. Don't forget, 2 rookie quarterbacks. That's gonna be
Oh my God, that's right.
It's gonna be a good game to watch. I think, we're watching the sign of the times, but I think 2 rookie quarterbacks is gonna be a good game. So those are all the 1 o'clock games. Let's move on to 4 o'clock. Chargers at Titans. Titans are now benching Mariota, starting the other guy. I'm gonna take Chargers.
I'm gonna for exactly that reason. The Chargers are gonna win. They're gonna use this game as like, all right, let's get this guy up to speed, play time, get him used to it. We'll take the loss if we have to. So yeah, the Chargers.
Great game. Saints have been on a win streak, going up against Chicago. Chicago's got a lot of good players. Great defense. That's a tough game. I have to think that Chicago's defense overcomes Teddy Bridgewater at New Orleans, but it's at home. So I'm going to go Chicago.
I'd go with Chicago, honestly, if it was further in the season. Go with Chicago. But right now, looking at where they're at, I'm going to have to go with the Saints. They're having that good of a season right now. They had that 1 loss, but other than that, they've been pretty consistent. And the Bears have been so.
Not a bad pick. But, I think that's a fuck, what do you do kind of moment, right? Coming off 5 wins in a row versus, Chicago's defense just killing everybody. So great game there. We got 425 game also. Baltimore at Seattle. Tough decision there.
Yeah. It is.
Seattle's at home. So noise.
Yeah. And Seattle's been strong. Oof.
Did Baltimore win last week?
Was it last week? Baltimore. Was it their bye week? No.
No.
Oh, that's this week.
That's this week. Next week.
I forget if they won last week.
I don't think Baltimore goes in and beats Seattle at home. I'm going to Seattle.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I think Seattle's going to take it, but I think that's going to be one of those good games, though.
I mean, the lineup at 425 is Saints and Seattle. I think the most interesting games at 1 o'clock: Texans, Colts,
Yes.
Cardinals, Giants. Those will be the games I'm watching, even though I'll be watching NFL Red Zone. Because I don't see all those nasty penalties being called. We got the 8 o'clock game Sunday night. We got Philly at Dallas. I'm taking Philly.
I'm taking Dallas. American team at home in Philadelphia. Yeah, no. Dallas is going to come out with something to prove.
Didn't Dallas just lose at home? Or did they lost at New York?
Don't remember.
I'm pretty sure.
Let's see.
Did they lose at home?
Where was it? Week 6, they were at New York Jets and they lost. So they're at New Jersey.
So they need a win. They're at home. Might be a good game. It's always a good game to watch. Last, but certainly not least, we have the undefeated Patriots at
This could be a blowout.
New York Football Jets. Or is it
It's
New York Football Jets or New York Football Giants? It doesn't matter. They're in New York.
Yeah. Well, they're in New Jersey. Okay, they're
Whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck it. It's New York. Should fucking be New York.
But New England's gonna run right over them. I mean, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I know the Patriots are turning into the New York Yankees of the NFL, but they're gonna destroy it. They're gonna destroy the Jets, and
I'm gonna go upset Jets. Jets. Jets.
That would be great to see if the Jets upset the Pats. Oh,
You're going New England. I'm gonna send this to you guys right now. I'm going Jets. The reason I want to go Jets is because I want to see the Patriots fans just cry because they're undefeated season. But you know what? The NFL wants the Patriots in the Super Bowl anyway. We already know this. And I think they either won them against Garoppolo and San Fran or Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. Who else this year? Because with Drew Brees being injured, he's not going to come back till week 10, week 12. Not going to be
if at all.
If at all. I mean, Deshaun Watson and with Texans, we'd love to see that too, but I just don't see any other team in the Super Bowl, provided Tom Brady's healthy. I don't see anybody else going out there. But the thing that I want to leave everybody with the thought of, what is New England going to do without Tom Brady? I don't think that they go anywhere. I think that's just it. Like, you guys had your run, your 9, 10 Super Bowls, whatever, visits, not wins. You're not winning 10 with Brady. But with that, Alex, it has been a pleasure, as always. Let's tune in next week. Give our takes for week 7, which is what we just talked about. All these fun things. And Alex, are you on social media anywhere besides Facebook and on our Craft Brews and Geek News Facebook page?
Yeah, but I have to clean it up still. I keep forgetting to do that.
It's okay. Anyway, it has been a pleasure, my friend. You guys can find me, Brewboy813, on Craft Brews and Geek News on the Facebook page. You can also find us at Brewmasters Club on Instagram and at Brewboy813 on Instagram and Twitter, which I'm hardly ever on, so it doesn't matter. This has been a fantastic show, and I'm really excited about this week in football. So, cheers. Have a great night.
Cheers.
We're ending the broadcast right now. There it is.